Hello, kindergartners! I have a new read aloud for us today from my friend's library. But before we begin our read aloud, I want us to think back to right before distance learning started. We were learning about something important with writing. You're learning about something that writers add to stories to help readers get a picture in their mind. Thinking about, you can listen and whisper to somebody or think to yourself, what is that thing? What is that called when a writer adds this to their story to help the reader paint that picture in their head? They add lots of this thing to their story. Do you remember we read that book? It was called Once Upon a Time, the End. It was missing some really important things. Think to yourself. Are you starting to remember what it was called? Yeah. Oh, I think I heard it. Okay, on the count of 3, tell me what I'm thinking of. 1, 2, 3. Details, right. Details are important things that readers add to our stories to help us understand what's happening in the story and help us paint a picture in our head or see a movie in our head of what's going on. There can be details in the pictures and there can be details in the text or the words in the story, which we can see in picture books a lot. We see both the words and the pictures. There's lots of details that help us get that picture in our head. Okay, so today we are going to be thinking about the details that are in this story that I'm going to read. I'll show you in just a sec. And the details in a story help us with our reading comprehension. Reading comprehension is when you read something, you process it, you think about it, and that helps you understand it. Those details help you understand the story. Let's say reading comprehension 3 times. Reading comprehension, reading comprehension, reading comprehension. Right, reading comprehension is very important for us because when you read a story, you want to be able to understand it after you read it. So details help us with that reading comprehension. Okay, so today we're going to be thinking about those details. We're going to look at the pictures look at the details in both the pictures and in the text, and I'm going to be asking you some questions to help you think about how those details are helping us understand what we're reading about. Okay, I have some sticky notes on my book so that if you see a sticky note, it's just to help me remember some of the questions that I want to remember to ask you. Okay, so let's look at the cover and start by just seeing what's on the cover. There's the title and the picture to help us. Okay, our book today is called Stuck by Oliver Jeffers. Looking at the cover, we know the title is Stuck. You see something happening on the cover. Think to yourself or listen and whisper to somebody, what do you think this story is going to be about? What do you think this book is going to be about? Looking at the cover and looking at the title. So both text and picture details are helping us paint that picture in our head. Do you have some ideas? Let's hear them. Oh, I like that idea. Oh, interesting. So what's helping you? What are the things that are helping you come up with these ideas? What are the things on this cover? Right, the word stuck. So we're thinking something might be stuck in a tree. Maybe this person lost something in the tree. Let's find out. Stuck by Oliver Jeffers. It all began when Floyd's kite became stuck in a tree. He tried pulling and swinging, but it wouldn't come unstuck. Okay, so we just read the text in our story. I'll go like that since that's our page. We just read the text here, and we see the picture, who's the main character in our story? Do you remember his name? Right, Floyd. And we know that because, right, it told us the detail. We learned about it in the text. So we learned that Floyd has an issue. He has a problem. What's his problem? What did we just learn what's his problem that we just learned about? Right, his kite's stuck in a tree. There's 2 ways we know that. What are the 2 ways? Looking at our picture or looking at this page. Right, we see the kite stuck in the tree here, and then we also read it in the text. It says, when Floyd's kite became stuck in a tree, he tried pulling and swinging, but it wouldn't come unstuck. So not only did we learn our character, Floyd, his kite is stuck in a tree, and he's already tried 2 different strategies to try and get it unstuck. Swinging and pulling, but they both didn't work. We learned so much just from this page already. We've learned so much from the details. Okay, let's read on. The trouble really began, it's underlined and in capital letters, we know, really began, when he threw his favorite shoe to knock the kite loose. Looking at the picture, we don't even need the words. We can just look at the details in the picture. What do we think happened to the shoe? Right, it got stuck up in the tree with the kite. Let's see, is that what it says? And then it got stuck too. We didn't even need the text. We could just use the picture details. So he threw up his other shoe to knock down his favorite one, and unbelievably, that got stuck as well. Both shoes are stuck. Uh-oh. What do you think's gonna happen on this page? Okay, let's find out. In order to knock down his other shoe, Floyd fetched Mitch. Where do you think Floyd's gonna put Mitch? Do you think he's gonna have Mitch climb up the tree to get the shoe? Oh, poor Mitch. Cats get stuck in trees all the time, but this was getting ridiculous. So we could see shoes in trees, or we could see cats in trees and kites. Okay, so keep that in mind. These are things that we could see in a tree, maybe. Floyd fetched a ladder. Oh, thank goodness. Climb up the ladder and get the shoes, right? Yeah. He was going to sort this out once and for all. Okay, let's see Floyd climb the ladder to get up into... Looking at the pictures, not even reading the words. What did Floyd do with the ladder? He threw it up in the tree. Oh, Floyd. And up he threw it. I'm sure you can guess what happened. What happened? It got stuck. My goodness. The ladder was borrowed from a neighbor and would definitely need to be put back before anyone noticed. And in order to do so, Floyd flung a bucket of paint at it. Is it normal to see a bucket of paint and a ladder stuck up in a tree? Think to yourself or listen and whisper to somebody. Is it normal to see a bucket of paint or a ladder stuck in a tree? Right. This probably doesn't happen in real life. People don't normally throw buckets of paint and ladders up in the tree. Ooh, that helps us think this is definitely a fiction story because we know it's probably not true. Let's find out what else he puts up there. And wouldn't you know it, the bucket of paint got stuck. Then Floyd tried. Oh no, what's it gonna dry? A duck to knock down the bucket of paint. He tried a duck. I don't think that worked. A chair to knock down the duck. Are these normal things we see being thrown up into trees? Not that I've ever seen. His friend's bicycle to knock down the chair. Oh, that makes sense, right? We just throw bicycles up into trees. No. The kitchen sink to knock down his friend's bicycle. How did Floyd pull that out of his kitchen? My gosh. Floyd's front door to knock down the kitchen sink. Now this just seems crazy. He's throwing the kitchen sink up into the tree and his front door? I don't know how he lifted those. He's got super strength. The family car to knock down their front door. There's a person here saying, hello? Just remember the front door's missing. Oh, now we see a picture of the tree a little further back. So getting a new perspective. Remember, thinking about perspective. We've talked about perspective before. A new perspective of the tree. Before we've just seen it close up. So now we are starting to see some more details about where the tree is at. What is the setting of this story? Where is the tree located? What's the setting? We know this is the front door of his house. Right, the setting is the tree's in his backyard. So the setting of our story is in the backyard of his house. Oh no, the milkman to knock down the family car. The milkman says, did you get up here the same way? He's talking to the cat. An orangutan to knock down the milkman, who surely had somewhere else to be. Are these normal things we see in a tree? No, I have never seen a milkman being flung up into a tree. Have you? Oh, good. I was worried there for a second. I have never seen a milkman in a tree. But now I can say I have. A small boat to knock down the orangutan. A big boat to knock down the small boat. How is all of this fitting up in this tree? That's what I want to know right now. A rhinoceros to knock down the big boat. A long distance truck to knock down the rhinoceros. The house across the street to knock down the long distance truck. This person in the window is saying, Floyd? They're probably thinking, how is Floyd able to carry a house? How? Look at, he's just dragging this big boat by the anchor. I'm amazed. A lighthouse to knock down the house, no longer across the street. A curious whale in the wrong place at the wrong time to knock down the lighthouse. The whale says, hi, what are you doing? We know he's saying that because we see the speech bubble. And they all got stuck. Look at all of those things in the tree. Taking a second, thinking back, looking at all the objects that Floyd threw up into the tree. Think about what was the first item? Do you remember? Think all the way back to the beginning. What was the first thing that Floyd threw up into the tree? Do you remember? Was it the rhinoceros? No. Was it the big boat? No. Was it something that you might see up in a tree? Yeah, he threw his shoe up there. Somebody might throw their shoe up there. Could be something that you've seen before. do you remember what the second thing was? Threw a shoe, and then he threw, right, the cat, Mitch, right? That's something somebody wouldn't normally throw up in a tree, I would hope not, but something you might see up in the tree. Yeah. Oh, this says, this I think might be the neighbor, because I think this was the next door neighbor. And this person says, wait till I tell your mother. Do you think Floyd's mom is gonna like this or not like this? I don't think so either. Oh, this one. This page makes me laugh so much. I'm just gonna show this part first. Okay, so it says, a fire engine was passing and heard all the commotion. The firemen stopped to see if they could help at all. Can we help at all? What do you think? Do you think that the firemen are going to be able to help Floyd get everything out of the tree? Do you think? Take a second and think to yourself. How do you think they're going to be able to? How do you think the firemen might be able to help them? How help Floyd? Ooh, yeah, I like that idea. Right. Oh, that's what I was kind of thinking. Okay, you ready? I'm going to show you what happened. Oh, Floyd. And up they went. First the engine, followed by the firemen, one by one. Oh, Floyd. Do you think Floyd's strategy is working for him, or do you think it's not working? How do you know that? How do you think? I've heard some people say that they don't think it's working. Why do you think it's not working? What are some of the details that we're seeing in this story that make you think it's not working? Right. That's what yeah, exactly. Exactly. He keeps throwing more and more things up in the tree. So that must not be working because, ooh, thinking back, what is the original thing? The first thing that was stuck in the tree. Not the first thing he threw, but the first thing that was stuck. Right, his kite. Has the kite come down yet? No. Okay, he's got to get this kite down somehow. And there they stayed, stuck between the orangutan and one of the boats. Firemen would definitely be noticed missing, and Floyd knew he'd be in big trouble. Then he had an idea and went to find a saw. Oh, what is he going to do with the saw, you think? Maybe cut down the tree. Let's find out. Or maybe, that's what I'm thinking too. Floyd, he lined it up as best he could and hurled it up in the tree. That's not going to help at all. And that was it. Wait, what? He threw the saw up in the tree and that was it? He got the kite down? There was no more room left in the tree and the kite came unstuck. Oh. Floyd was delighted. He had forgotten all about his kite and put it to use immediately, enjoying the rest of his day very much. He does look very happy right now. That night, Floyd fell asleep exhausted. Though before he did, he could have sworn there was something he was forgetting. Oh no. What was he forgetting? Right. There's a lot of fire trucks that are going by my window right now. Apologize if you can hear them. Oh, there they go. Right. He forgot all the things he threw up in the tree. Sorry. There we go. Oh, there's everybody stuck in the tree at night. Right. It says, hang on a minute, lads. I've got a great idea. fire trucks are almost, I can hear them coming. They're close. I think they're going by. Right. It says, hang on a minute, lads. I've got a great idea. What do you think the fireman's idea is? Maybe. I don't know. They're stuck up in the tree. How are they all gonna get down? I don't know. It's a good question. We don't get to find out, but we get to think to ourselves how the fireman gets everybody down, because Floyd did not help at all. Okay. What a silly story. Goodness. I would love to see a boat up in a tree. I think that would be a sight to see. Okay, before I end our video, just a couple more questions thinking about the details that we saw in our story today. Thinking back, what happened at the beginning of our story? What were some of the details that we heard at the beginning of our story? Yeah, listen, whisper, tell, yeah. Yeah. Right. Floyd, our main character, his kite got stuck up in a tree. Exactly. So Floyd's kite got stuck up in a tree. What about the middle of the story? What was happening in the middle of the story? Right. He was throwing things up in the tree to try and get the kite down. Did it work? No. But what about the end of the story? What happened at the end? Thinking to yourself. So he first lost his kite. He's throwing stuff up in the tree. Now what happened at the end? Thinking about those details that we saw and we heard. Right. He threw so many things up in the tree that there was no more room left and his kite fell down. And did he help everybody get out of the tree? No. Floyd. Why do you think the title is Stuck? Why do you think the author wrote the title as Stuck? Thinking about the details that we learned about and read about in our story. Right. There were so many different items that were stuck in the tree. That's a very, I think, sensible title. It makes sense. There was a lot of things stuck up in a tree. It's a good title. Okay, thanks everyone for being such good listeners and sticking with me. A little bit different read aloud today, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye everyone. I'll see you tomorrow for some more read alouds.